Sweet. Yeah, so like we were talking about,
Yeah,
yeah, it's been you've come a long way, dude. Like a super long way.
it's actually insane.
Yeah.
Especially in a short time.
Yeah. It's cool to see that too, because in therapy and things like, courses that take 8 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year or something,
Yeah.
they promise you this change, even though it's not deep, they promise you some change after all this time that you have to invest. And so what happens is society gets this idea that, oh, like change cannot happen that quickly. That's not possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have some of the
Like,
same
did I
response?
even tell you that I actually had some therapy sessions?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because like when I was like 16, 17, when my parents had like a little split up,
Yeah.
when I had that time I told you about, I actually went to like four or five, and it actually helped me, but it left me like, and then like, after like a year, I was like, man, I think I need this again, so I can
Mm.
feel better again. Because like the best I felt was right after a session,
Ah, yeah.
right? But then it just like went away because it wasn't really teaching me how to fix it on my own, which basically
Mm.
you are doing, right? So because now I just recognize thought patterns, and I can just like, okay, this is where I'm thinking this, and then just
Yeah.
stop it, right? And like that's literally what I did in a sales call yesterday as well, because I was like, man, I'm being judged, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay, that's fine. And then I just went on and with like
Hmm.
confidence, and then they sensed it as well, and then they bought, right? So it's a
Yeah.
great ROI on our conversation as well.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, yeah, that's just like this learning it yourself, right? There's this cheesy thing everybody says with like teach a man how to fish, blah blah. We all heard it, right? But it's like very true for this mindset stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you just said the teach a man how to fish analogy because it's in my eyes, it's not moral to teach someone that the only time they can feel better is if they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Not that it's not moral, but it's also not true. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's just not true. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be that way, right?
Also with my skin, like there's these like I'm not a like I'm open with this. Like I'm just not a big fan of like the pharma industry. I mean, who is, right? But
Yeah.
still, like I don't think nobody is a big fan of the pharma
Yeah.
industry.
What are you talking about? I
Like
love
it's
pharma.
actually yeah, it's actually not a very a very radical
Hot
thing to
take.
say. But like the thing is, we talked about my skin issues, right? Which is also connected to the mental stuff. And for a period of time, I had like this cream where you put it on, so it gives I don't know, is humidity the right word? I don't know, like to the skin,
Yeah.
and yeah, and but since I started using it, I had to continue using it, obviously,
Hmm.
right? Like because
Yeah.
that's their business model. Because they don't want to like have you buy like one cream and then be done, obviously,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
No.
because if you get people hooked, they use it for like 40 years. That's a
Yeah.
shit ton of money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's like this. It's like similar with like therapy and just like mindset and basically everything. It's all the same. So you just need to figure out who are you talking to, and before you purchase anything. And like it makes like people could also think, hey, if I work with you, for example, like I did, doesn't he want to continue working with me so he makes more money? But like no, you just take like a sum in the beginning, but what you get is the testimonial, like right, what we're doing right now, right? So you will not make money with me every month for the next 10 years, but
Hmm.
you help me, and now I do this testimonial so you can help more people. That's what it's for. But it's like the incentives are aligned, and that
Yeah.
just makes a lot of sense. It makes way more sense. And yeah, especially in America, therapy is also like you also have to pay shit ton of money anyways, right? Like it's private.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's very
yeah,
expensive, man. It's very,
yeah.
it's same with the medication. It's all very, very
Yeah.
expensive.
So you even save money when you work with you like in the long run anyway. So like yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, because if you have to keep going back to get the fish or to get a
Yeah.
feeling that you're okay or feel less anxious or
Yep.
like less in your way of your business, then you always have to be paying this person on the side to help you feel better and you always have to keep going back to them to get that same feeling. But that's and life is so short. Like you have things to work on. You have a business to run, you have a life to live, you have a relationship that you're in. My
Yep.
goal for you is to be self-sufficient. You should not have to keep coming back to me. I want you to fire me as soon as humanly possible. That's my
Yes.
goal. You know what I mean? If my process works for you, you fire me immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's
It's
end this
kind of
conversation now.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, then let's end this conversation now because
Yeah.
yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
See you.
exactly. It's done. I got
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no. So to give some background to everybody watching, this is my good friend Nils. We met God, a little bit over a week ago in Miami. We were both at a good friend of ours retreat, a good friend and mentor, Jeremy, and it was absolutely incredible. And yeah, why don't you go ahead and explain kind of like how we met, how we started talking, man? Yeah, take it away.
Over a week ago is insane, right? Like,
It feels like months. It feels like months.
I promise this program isn't a scam.
Yeah,
I know it's very difficult to believe, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's simple when you do it. It's just complicated from the outside, but like it's actually very simple when you actually do the sessions, right? And
Hmm.
we did like a few days ago. We did like a 4 hour session, so still, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so we're both in the same like entrepreneur community, right? And we met at this mastermind and in Miami, right? So we were like sitting at a villa, talking to each other, and it was literally like the first day of the mastermind, like my second time in America, like first time since being an adult, and I just heard like what you do, and I knew that I struggle with this, so I literally was just like, hey man, do you have like a minute to just like talk, right? Just like talk. And this guy literally sat down for an hour with me at the first day of the mastermind. He paid for, right, as well to get to go
Hmm.
there. And then we sat down for an hour at midnight, from midnight to 1 a.m. Like it's at the end, like both super tired, and we kind of like talked about this program and ran like a session like we do now online. Like usually it's online, but it literally has the same effect online, so it doesn't really matter. But we did it like in person, and I already yeah, like we ran a session, went through like the things holding me back. Like you picked up my stories very fast, which was kind of insane to see. And it was also kind of a weird feeling to have somebody you don't even know like talk to you and then kind of like have them explain you what you are thinking and feeling and have me kind of like realize it, which was a very surreal feeling, but it like
Mm.
completely made sense because it actually was true. So, but it was very insane. Did the exercise for like an hour. We went through it, and I already felt like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders at the end. Like it was completely insane. We talked about it. I felt like 50 pounds lighter, and you even could see it in my face, right? Like at the end of it,
Yeah.
like compared to the beginning, I was crying for like a minute as well, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just very like a special moment. And that's why the whole retreats, the whole mastermind went so well for me as well, because I literally did it at the first. And I told you, and I told like a lot of people there as well, that this was like the main thing which helped me being there, right? And of course
Mm.
also the strategy stuff we learned there as well. But like at least like from the mindset perspective and like from my understanding myself perspective, and that was just completely insane. Like I don't really have words to describe it. And yeah, we did it for an hour. I felt like a new person. Then I slept like a brick, and it was and I did, like you told me, you will sleep like a
Yeah.
brick,
Said you're
and
gonna
I,
sleep
I
like a
did.
baby after this, and you
I don't
knocked
know if we
out. Yeah.
talked about that, but I did. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
even sleep that long because we woke up early the next morning, but felt like I slept 20 hours, even though it
Mm.
was only like 5. Then I woke up in the morning, and even I struggle with like screen addiction, as like probably everybody does, right? But
Yeah.
and in that evening, I didn't even watch YouTube or anything. I just was like sitting there and just like feeling good, and
Mm.
that was insane. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and then and then was just like, hey, I need to hire this guy for a few sessions. I need to work with him. And then when I was back in Germany, then we did, right? And then we did more sessions and then
Yeah.
unpacked even more things, and which were even more hitting, and had this exact same sensation again. And now I literally don't. You know, the thing is, I don't want. I'm literally thinking about this right now as I speak, to be completely honest, also to the
Mhm.
viewer. I don't want this to sound too good to be true, but it kind of sounds like that if you haven't like talked to you, haven't done these things. But it literally had a huge effect on me in like a few sessions, and I feel like a new person, and I really do. And everything is just way easier, and I don't really have had a lot of bad emotions at all the last days, and like also about my work, and I'm just very like easygoing, which is very uncommon for me because I'm a very complicated overthinking, or used to be very
You
overthinking
were that
person. Yeah,
person,
I
yeah.
was that, yeah. and
Yeah,
and now
dude.
I'm literally just like taking it easy. I mean, I even had like a couple beers like the last days, which is for me is like very untypical. I usually, if I have like beer or something, I hate myself because I'm very perfectionistic and stuff, and I
Yeah.
did it intentionally. Like it actually was an exercise of him for me to drink like a beer, which is a
Mhm.
great program if that's an exercise. And
Yeah.
it actually made sense, right? So I did it like without shame and
Mm.
without yeah, and I just like everything's very easy right now. And I was even more productive the last days. It's insane. It's completely insane.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate that breakdown. Thank you for your words. Like it means a lot. Uh, I when I think back to when you came up to me at the retreat, I just
Yeah.
remember I was walking and you walked straight up next to me and you're like, "Hey, like I kind of want to I feel like I need to like vent. Like I need to tell you about these things." And I
Yeah.
just remember in my mind I said, "Yeah, 100%. Like let's go." Like let's because I could
Yes.
see there was some
You were like,
anxiety, there was
yeah.
some anxiousness going on, and
Yeah.
that's my specialty. Like that's really where my expertise is helping with that. And so is that what you were feeling? Like, kind of like take us back to what you were feeling in that moment. I mean, even before we worked together in your life, how did that show up in your business? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, in that moment, I obviously felt better than usually because I was in Miami at a villa at a mastermind,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Which is like a normal thing I do,
yeah, yeah,
but wasn't. And yeah, now I came up to you, I talked to you, and like I just said that I felt lighter, right? And before that I didn't. And like the last year and like the last couple of years, I always had this feeling that I'm like carrying extra weight, and that everything, like it felt like, and it probably is true, for me, everything was more exhausting than to other people I talked to, right? And I
mm,
mean, I'm running a profitable business, which helps a lot of people, but I still had like these, even things like taking meetings and stuff, I just always had the feeling that I need to like do more and overperform and stuff, and it just was like very draining, and everything just felt very heavy. Always like I have to always go with my head through the wall and like need
yeah,
to be super aggressive, so and be like super do like a lot, and so that I can just be normal. Like that's also what you said. Like you said and took like said like something which stuck with me, where you said like why do you feel like you are 100, like that you're like behind at like a like 100-meter race, or like at like a track race? Why do
yeah,
you feel like you have to start like even the double? Why do you feel like you have to run double the distance, right? Like
yeah,
because you don't, you can just like go there with everybody else, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and that it just like was, everything felt more difficult than it's had to. And people were
mm,
also telling me that, right? Told me like, hey, I have the feeling that sometimes you take everything too heavy and like make things like harder on yourself and for yourself than you really have to, and that drains your energy. So I
yeah.
had like less energy left for the things I actually wanted to do, if that makes sense.
It completely makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that analogy that if you're running track, right? And
Yeah.
everyone's at the starting line except for you. You're
Yeah.
starting 100 meters behind everybody else.
Yes.
And that's what it feels like when you have that extra weight because it's like, dang, just to get up to where everyone else is, I have to work double as hard. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so this was the beautiful thing. Like, this is why this works so well for you too, is because you're already like doing so well in life. Like, even before we worked together, you're already doing very well in life. And
Yeah.
so you've been performing really well. It's like this. You've been running a marathon with like 20 pounds attached to
Mm.
each of your limbs,
Yeah.
right? And you've still been doing it. You've still been running. And
Yeah.
so in my mind, I knew I'm like, if he thinks things are good now, like wait, what happens when we take this weight off? Like just
Exactly.
watch. You know, like not only
Yeah.
do you run faster and your business operates better, but like more importantly, your quality of life just goes through the roof. You don't
Yep.
feel so bad, you know?
Yes. I
Yeah.
just like everything is like it feels like I'm playing on easy mode now. Yeah, and I was like playing in hard mode, but I didn't, but there was no reason, like there wasn't really a big reason behind me doing that. I just did it for some reason because I
Yeah.
thought like I had to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we're used to something for so long, it feels like, well, this is just normal. Like this is just how
Yeah.
life is for me, right?
Yeah.
Maybe my friends and my family are telling me like, hey, like you're so hard on yourself, like you have to
Mm,
work so hard. It doesn't have to be like that. It's like I know, but I don't know what to do about that. You know what I mean? That's where I
exactly.
was. It sounds like that's where you were too. A lot of people are in the same boat. And when you can finally get out of your own way in that sense,
Yeah.
I mean, man, like
That's
what
also
is
what like Austin said, who's like a really great mentor of ours as well.
yeah,
And he said like if you think business is easy, it will be easy. If you
yeah,
think business is hard, it will be hard. Like it's the same thing for life, right? Like we kind of like I kind of had like this feeling like yeah, this has to be hard so that I can be successful because if it's not hard, I won't be successful. If that
hmm
makes sense. And it makes sense. And yeah, like since talking to you, I was kind of like, okay, maybe I just looked at everything like it had to be hard, so I obviously made it harder on myself,
yeah,
right? Because if you think it has to be hard, you will make it harder, like subconsciously, intentionally,
yeah,
and but it doesn't really have to be, right? So if you just like get out of your own way, which is basically 99% of success in every area of life, right?
yeah,
Also like relationship, business, working out, diet. It's just like it's not like we don't know what to do, right? It's just that we don't know why we don't do it,
yes,
right?
exactly.
And or why we do it in that
Mhm,
case, and just like why we make it that complicated. And it's literally just the beliefs and unpacking the personal stuff. I mean, obviously, it's not that easy. It's not like you can just like watch this video now and be like, okay, then I will think that it will be easy now because you need to
mhm,
like go deep and understand like what's inside of you, like which programs you're running and kind
mhm,
of like unpack those. That's what we did. And it wasn't it like it wasn't easy, right? Like I don't want people to watch this and be like, oh nice, a week? Okay, let's do it. You know,
yeah,
like and
yeah,
maybe for some people it takes like 2 months or something, you know, like
mhm,
it's different, you know, like you would know that better. But
yeah,
if the thing is yeah, you need to go deep, and it's not like working with you. It's easy, but it's like it's very simple, but it's not easy. You know, like it's
yeah.
easy from like the structure, but it's very difficult to do it because you have to go very deep, and it's not nice, and it's like what did I tell you? I feel like I just had like a 10-hour workout or something,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Because I did feel like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I explain it like this, right? So
yeah,
all of this stuff is trapped in the body, right? Like so the anxiety, the pain,
yeah,
self-sabotage, right? This is all something that's going on inside of us. And the external world is just a reflection of what's going on in the internal state, right? And when you let go of what's going on in the internal state, it's like if you have a really hard workout and then you just lay down on the floor and you're trying to catch your breath, that's what it feels like. You finally let go of the weight. You finally let go of what you've been carrying. And so the response is instead of staying in fight or flight and always being in your own way, you go into this state that's called rest and digest, where you're just like, oh, like, okay, I have to catch my breath. Like I've been holding on to this for years of my life. For most people, it's like the majority of their life they've been holding on to this. And again, if you've been carrying around these weights for the majority of your life and one day you just let them go, it's like, okay, I can finally rest. I can finally breathe, right?
yeah.
And then it's like everything gets easier. That's why you said it feels like life is on easy mode now. This is a common occurrence because of course, previously, if you're performing life on hard mode and you realize, hey, it actually doesn't have to be that way, you're like, oh, okay, this belief isn't really serving me. You know what I mean?
But I mean, there's also something about you as well, though, right? Because like
Yeah.
it's not it's like because like I talked to people about this stuff before, you
Hmm.
know, But when I talk to you, it just hit different for some reason. That's like something I'm still trying to figure out, to be honest, like why that is, because I still like don't like completely understand why.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like some contents we talked about before, right? I heard like I watched like videos or read something and stuff, but like and talked to people about that as well, right? But when I talked to you, it was just like completely different because like everything just like fell into place, and this is something which is like it's very difficult to like explain, or it's very difficult to figure out on like a call, or like this is something you need to kind of experience, if that makes sense, and it's like, and I don't have like I'm like more the rational type, like, which was also what we talked about, and I don't really have a rational explanation why why talking to you helped me that much, because I obviously it's I expect that it will help me because that's what you do, right? But I
Yeah.
can't really explain why it was that huge of an impact, even after like the first hour and like in the second and third and stuff. That's not very. That's very difficult for me to understand.
Yeah.
Like,
I know what
but
you mean.
I'll just accept it and take it as it is and just be happy now. But like, it's still fucking weird to
Yeah.
just be like,
Yeah.
because we're just like talking for an hour, and it felt like the world had stopped when I like looked at you and we like did those exercises. It felt like I was like so in the moment. It was insane.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciate that, man.
Can you
Genuinely.
explain
I would be happy
it?
to. Yeah. I'd be happy to. So, anxiety, self-sabotage, even things like depression and all of these different issues
Yeah.
that show up in our life, most modalities, most therapy, even supplements, meditation, breath work, all of these things are really good at providing you temporary relief, right? So you said something earlier before we hit record, which was like, I did these
Yeah.
therapy sessions and it felt good for a little bit, and then it's like I had to keep going back. You know what I mean? And so,
This was actually in the recording.
yeah, that actually was. Now that I think about it, we
Yeah.
said it right at the beginning. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
the reason why that happens is because most modalities focus on thoughts, feelings, and experiences, right? These are the three things up here that
Yeah.
most practices try to change in your life. I'm having negative thoughts. Okay, here's how you can replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. I'm having negative feelings. Here's how you can replace the bad ones with good ones. I have bad habits and experiences in life, right? My business is suffering because I'm anxious. I'm in my way. I'm not committing. Okay, like here's how you can build better systems and strategies. All of that is fine. There's nothing wrong with it inherently if you're okay with short term change. If you want deep change, the reason that you had such deep change in our conversations and our sessions is because we went to, if those things were leaves on a trees, right? Your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, if all we do is trim leaves, what are they going to do? They're going to grow back, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So the reason that your leaves, the bad experiences, feelings, and thoughts kept growing back is because the root of that poisonous plant was still intact. And so what we did was we removed the root. And so for you, with the anxiety coming up and everything, that's a lot of feeling of like, I don't know, like I always just feel like, things have to be so go, 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 and so hectic and so heavy, right? So extra. The reason why is because there is a root intact. And so the reason that we were able to remove that is number one, because you were brave and you had the strength to show up and do that for yourself. But number two, because we were able to identify where it was coming from, what was fueling it, and then ultimately remove it, man. And when you do that, there's nothing left to grow. There's no negativity left to grow.
Because it was what you guys need to realize, like Max could literally, or Max as I say, could
Yeah.
literally do build like a program where it's like, hey, you need to do this, 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 and this every day. This is your routine and stuff, and then you will struggle with the routine, and then you will keep stay in a program for like a year until you have it down, right? And make like even way more money, And it's like,
Yeah.
bro, but he literally doesn't do that because he actually wants to help, right? So that's a good thing for if you want to work with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, because there are those programs, and I'm not saying that like none of them work and stuff. Like there are obviously also useful programs, But I mean, I actually watched your YouTube video, which was pinned on your Instagram like a few days ago, and you talked about that as well, right? Like routines, and everybody wants to tell you you need like more, right?
Hmm.
And that's what I found like very refreshing about your message, and what you do is just like you probably need less, and that's what resonates so much with me. It's like, hey, you already are that person, and then he
Yes.
helps you figure out how to go back to that, and not how to do this step by step routine, blah
Yeah.
blah. So like, I just wanted to ask you real quick, like, what's your opinion on these programs and like these, like, hey, help you go do like this breath work and workout and
Mhm.
diet and like all this dialed in so that you can feel better once if you do it. Like, what do you think about those?
Yeah, like again, I think they're all really well intended. Like if you're in the
Yeah.
business of trying to help people, I think that's really incredible. It's great. But I think they're just fundamentally flawed. Like
I'm
really.
just I'm just closing the window real quick,
Yeah,
but you
go
can
ahead.
continue
Go ahead.
talking.
Yeah,
I
yeah, of
hear
course.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so these programs, in my eyes, are fundamentally flawed. The reason why is because you don't need to add more habits, more routines, more breathwork sessions, more meditation sessions. All of these things that you're adding, you don't need to add more to create profound change in your life. Inherently, who you are at your core is someone who's peaceful, passionate, alive, energetic, loving, caring, successful. Like these states are already who you inherently are. And so you don't need to add anything to what is already a perfect person. You just need to remove what's in the way of you experiencing these states. So if you're not feeling peace, what's in the way? If you're not feeling passionate, what's in the way? If you're not feeling happy, what is in the way? Not feeling energetic in your business, something's in the way. You know what I mean? And so, yes, there are things we can add on top, and all of that is okay for, again, short term pain. But if you're looking for long term change in your life and you want to become the true you underneath all this noise, it's a process of letting go, not a process of adding.
Yes, that's perfect. And like the things I asked you, we talked about this for like a few minutes on the last session, but
Mm.
just real quick, because this is interesting. Because I honestly, right now I feel like because I used to be that person, right? Like cold shower. Like obviously I still do those things and shit, but like
Yeah.
I'm still adjusting to this new way of of living right now. But the thing is, I feel like right now that I don't need like anything, but I also don't want to because I feel like this right now.
Yeah.
Just drink like beer every day. Like to go, but that's like how good this guy is, right? Because
Yeah.
I used to be like this very head heavy person. Like that's a German thing. Like I don't know if you can say it in English, but like
Yeah.
overthinking and stuff. And now I literally feel like I don't need those things because I felt I needed to do my cold shower. I needed to have a perfect diet. I
Mhm.
needed to do those things so that I can just function normally. And now since we did, especially the last session, I mean I was taking a shower before my last sales call and I just didn't do a cold shower because I was like, yeah, I don't really care. Like it's not that much fun. I don't know. Like let's
Mhm.
just not do it right now.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this because this is a
And then I
very
felt amazing and closed the call and had an amazing conversation and was super
yeah.
successful after that, you know? So, but
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm
You didn't
like.
even need it. You didn't even need it.
I know, but I still also probably
Yeah.
also isn't a great idea to just order pizza now 5 times a day, you know?
Of
Like,
course.
but so like, but so how do you function? I probably already know the answer, but like, it's just very interesting to me right now because this is a
Yeah.
completely new way of living. Because I don't think I need because I acted because I thought I need because of a lack mindset because I thought like I need to
Yeah.
do cold shower, I need to do my workout every day and stuff. Now since I'm like okay, I feel amazing and I didn't do it like the last day and like I feel great and I don't care. Like how do you navigate that? Because I also obviously don't want to go to the other extreme and just
Of course.
be like this
Yeah.
hippie guy, you know?
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. So that's a really good question, man, because it's like, well, let me ask you this. Why
But
did you
this is a
used to take
testament to your program, obviously, right? It's like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. What were you trying to get out of the cold shower? Why were you doing that? What feeling did it give you? What were you chasing?
I just thought I can only function and I can like only perform if I do those things because there was something wrong with me.
Right.
Because I thought, like that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And so I'd imagine going into a cold shower brings you out of that state or out of
yeah,
that belief system that, well,
yeah,
something's wrong with me, or you know what I mean? And so if I take a cold shower, maybe I
yeah.
can not feel that way. And then that way I can do really well on my
Yeah,
sales
for like
call,
an
right?
hour though. That's the
For an
thing.
hour
Yeah,
temporarily.
yeah,
So that's the point, is these moments that we're chasing by trying to add cold showers, add habits, add therapy
yeah.
sessions, they're fleeting. Okay, so
Yep.
it's very important. You know what I mean? They're temporary, right?
Hmm.
And so the feeling that we're trying to get from doing these habits is our inherent state, but we're looking
Mm.
for it out there without realizing
Yeah.
it's already in here. And so we're going to limited sources of it when we could be going to the unlimited source of it that's inside. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so yeah, so you asked me a question. I forgot what it was. Could you repeat? I think it was like
How can I
yeah.
still be disciplined with my routines if I think I don't need them?
Yeah, 100%. I used to meditate every day. I used to do breath work almost every single day. And
Yeah.
I was doing that to escape a feeling. I was doing that because I didn't want to be in my own head anymore.
Yeah.
It was like, I
Me
don't really
too.
feel so good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was doing that as a way to stay disciplined, to train my mind, and to feel better so I could then perform and live better, right? What happened after I did this work and I let go of, well, what was fueling the negativity that I was trying to escape in the first place? When you remove that, I didn't have a need to meditate and do breath work every single day for 3 hours straight
Yeah.
anymore. And this is not to say that I don't meditate still. I do. I love being still with myself and with my thoughts. But I don't
Yeah.
do it to escape anymore. Now I just do it because it's fun. You know what I mean?
Do you
Now
do
I
it
just
like every day?
no, not even. Maybe once a week. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
What routines do you have which you do like consistently?
100%. I go to the gym every single day and I eat
Yeah.
very, very healthy. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you guys have this problem in Germany, but we have organic and then non-organic, and I only eat organic. I don't
Yeah.
drink out of plastic water bottles. I, meditate probably once a week or so, but I do work
Yeah.
out 5 to 6 days a week, and I do sauna at least 3 days a week as well. And I
Yeah.
don't, and it's not difficult to sustain these things because I love
Yes.
myself. I care about myself. You know what I mean? And these
Yeah.
are investments into my health and my
Yeah.
well-being. With that being said, I'm allowed to take a break. It's like, you can think of this as a road trip in your car, right? On a road trip, it's just as important to pull over and get gas as it is to keep driving to your destination. Life doesn't have to be constantly driving to your destination, right? It doesn't
Mm.
constantly have to be that. It's important to let go a little bit. It's okay to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It doesn't have to be this constant grind at all times. Let go and breathe, enjoy it. Look
Yeah.
around you. You're alive. Like the odds of even being alive, they found out statistically, one in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not
Especially
more.
we're living at the peak of civilization right now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And most people
Like
are
could you imagine if you were born like 500 years ago? You die at like age 35,
yes,
like yeah,
yeah, probably some
just some
horrible
random
disease.
disease. Yeah,
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
But instead, we're alive right now, which
But
statistically
like you
speaking is the
said something
safest
which really
times.
resonated with me. Like you do those things because you love yourself, and I did those things because I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I did them. So
yeah,
that's why we're doing a live session, by the way. Right now. But that's
yeah.
why like that's why since talking to you, I and since I have more like this the high self esteem again, since like I was like I literally feel like I felt at like 16 right now, like 17, like
Wow.
same self esteem as like when I was a teenager because it used to
Were
be
you
very
very
high.
confident when you were younger? Like
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I was like I am that way again now, but I especially like as a teenager I was just very I said what I thought and just like very confident and in all aspects of life with like yeah because and then I founded a business, then there was all this, then you had to like then it was all this pain and like all this, and then it kind of like put me down a bit. Like also
Yeah.
like I actually felt more successful before I was successful, like if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, and now since we kind of work together it's for a week now, we that's gone, and
Yeah.
I feel the same again basically, right? And I feel like this because I'm naturally a very like free person and who just like does whatever, like yeah, that's just very spontaneous, which makes it very
Right.
hard for my girlfriend sometimes, but because she's the opposite, like she
Yeah.
wants to plan everything.
That's how
But
my
yeah,
girlfriend is too.
what?
I said that's how my girlfriend is too. Plan, plan,
Yeah.
plan, and I'm like,
Right.
let's be
When
spontaneous
I'm
today.
also in Florida, they can do something together and we can do
Yes.
spontaneous stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah. Can't wait.
No,
Yeah, but
but like, yeah, that's the thing. And so I used to do those things because I didn't have to. And right now,
mm,
honestly, I don't think I have to do those things. And I always came like that's how I was programmed. I always did those things because I thought, okay, anxiety, there's something wrong with me. I need to go to the gym so that
yeah,
there's not something wrong with me. And
yeah,
now, which is also kind of like I guess something I need to figure out, right? Because I don't want to do this right now. Like I don't want to
yeah,
go. I don't want to have like a strict diet right now because I like because I have to because I still have those connotations that I needed those things. So that's kind of like
right.
an interesting situation right now, which
Yeah.
is obviously an amazing situation to be in, but it
Hmm.
still is a little bit interesting. So I'm like, okay, I could probably just like just like don't just like fuck off right now and still be way more successful. And that's maybe not perfect. Like I don't know. Like what do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's happening right now is you're
Yeah.
in the stage of healing and letting go where you're trying
Yeah.
to find your footing. Do you want to know why that happens?
Yes.
So you're trying to find your footing, and the reason why is because your why
Can you
has
translate that
changed.
real quick? Or what does it mean? Footing?
Yeah, your footing. So like you've lost your balance, right? So the
Okay.
floor that you
Okay.
used to stand on is not the
Yeah.
same floor anymore. In other words, your why has changed. Your
Yes.
reason for doing and being has fundamentally changed. You used to
Yep.
think something was wrong with you and that you were not going to be okay and that fundamentally you weren't safe and all these things. That's what your original footing was before we worked together. And now that that has been changed and removed, you're trying to find your footing. And so your motivation when you were on that belief system was, okay, I need to take a cold shower. I need to be on a really strict diet. I need to give 180 million% to every single sales call that I'm on. I have
Yes.
to overexert myself. I have to constantly be more and
Also
do
with
more.
delivery, huge in my program
Yes.
delivery. My clients have amazing results, and I still always felt like they need more and they don't like it. And then when I asked them, "So how's the program?" They're like, "Yeah, it's great." Okay, I always expect them to say like, "Yeah, this is not working, this is not working," but it's
Right.
always great. This like imposter situation, you
Yes,
know? Yeah,
100%. Yeah, and
yeah,
again, all of that comes from these subconscious programs, these belief
Whew.
systems in place,
Yeah,
right? You see, you're even feeling it here. It's
yeah. But I was
relieving, right?
yawning like 10 minutes ago. I don't know if you see it. Didn't know if you
Yeah,
saw it.
yeah. Which
Yeah.
is a form of release, by the way.
Yes.
And so when we re-talk about these things, yeah,
Yeah.
you're remembering what it used to be like in that state, even though time-wise it wasn't that long ago, but how you feel now is radically different
Yeah.
than where you were, right? So you're
Bro,
back
if
in your true
someone
self.
watched like this YouTube video to this point and doesn't sign up with you, that's ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching this video right now and not booking a call with them, that's crazy. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like they should probably see in my eyes how honest and how like they see it like live talk when I'm talking to you live the effect it has on me
Yeah.
right now. Like, bro.
Yeah, because if before you did this work, when we first sat down together, you were sitting in your chair and you were talking to me and you were just kind of like doing like this, and
Yeah.
I could tell you had a lot of stress, you had a lot of tension and anxiety that was
Yeah.
pent up for a long time, by the way. And that's when I knew right away what was going on internally. And so that's when we sat down and we went through a process of actually releasing the subconscious
Mm.
prison that you were trapped in, and when we release that, you notice these different physical effects. Like, are you open to kind of talking about what you experienced when you released it? Because it is a physical experience that you go through when you
Yes.
release all this stored up anxiety and all that stuff like that. How was that for you?
Well, I was literally I couldn't stop yawning. Like on our last session, I couldn't stop yawning for like 10 minutes. And it's
Yeah.
actually a good feeling to yawn, right? Because when you're
Yeah.
yawning, you're usually like letting go, right? It's not like I'm not a biologist, but there's
Yeah.
definitely a process which you can probably explain, like why that happens, because you release something.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was just because we went through everything. And I felt very yeah, like you can feel tired like in a negative way, but you can also feel tired after doing a workout and
Yeah.
in a good way and like fulfilled and tired. And that's how I felt after our sessions always. Like very and still, like because that's the whole point. I, just more relaxed in a positive way. So after the sessions I was a bit tired, but like after a great day of work, like the cool tired where you get go on the couch, watch a movie, and you deserve it. Like this kind of tired. Like
Yes.
that's how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that you kind of had some tingling and some feeling of like
Yes.
energy moving around you.
Yeah.
Like, how was that experience? Like, have you ever
Well, I
experienced
had
something like
tingling
that?
in my. I had like problems when we did the exercise. I had problems breathing. Like it was very
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
Then it like opened up. I had like a tingling feeling on my feet and on my hands
Yeah.
and like felt like feelings in my stomach and on my head a lot, where like what felt like something was releasing. Like literally felt like something was releasing. I felt like little bubbles or something were like on like were like this like tingling feeling something like
Yeah.
like as if you're being tickled a little bit. Like I had that like on my hands and like a very very noticeable and physical reaction, and if you feel that, like then you obviously know that there's something happening right now. Like it's very hard to tell yourself that nothing happened or that nothing worked, because if you like and I had that like every single time, basically every time
Yeah.
we did an exercise I had that.
Yeah, it's beautiful because when the body heals, like when the mind heals, you
Yeah.
feel it. Like I'm not talking like you feel happier, like you feel lighter. Yes, all of that, but you feel your body. There's energy moving, there's tingling sensations. Sometimes there's heat. For me, it was a pinball of heat that went up my chest and then just went away. And when
Yeah.
I did that, it
Yes.
felt like someone put noise canceling headphones over my ears because my thoughts would always race. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
everything went shh. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
ADHD binaural beats.
Yes, dude. Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was really incredible,
Cool.
man, and it was just it was like such a
Yeah.
pleasure even still like doing this work with you
Yeah.
because it's so transformational and like your potential is so significant. Like you
Yeah.
specifically, your potential is so significant, man. And now that you've removed everything that's in the way, or more importantly, who was in the way,
Yeah.
now that that individual has been shed and let go of the false self, you're in now your truer self and will
Yes.
continue to unfold and that will get deeper and deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? And I'm just excited to continue watching that unfold
I
for you,
need
man.
to add something. I need to say something smart,
Yeah.
because the thing is, we literally talked about like going to your true self, and people will watch this, and maybe when you work with them, you will have the feeling that you will be way more strict with your diet, that you will go to the gym more, and that you will
Yeah.
stick easy to your routines and do that stuff. I mean, it's not like I can stick; I just don't want to right now.
Yeah.
And because I'm like to the other extreme, like I grew up playing basketball at like the highest level, like in like Germany and Europe at my age group, like always about discipline, strict, working out. I went to the gym like consistently basically for the last like I don't think I had like a week where I didn't work out for like the last like 11 years
Wow, that's
probably.
incredible.
Yeah, because like I started playing basketball at a high level at like 10 years old, and I was always like working out. And I don't think I had like a week without a workout for like 10 years probably. And
Yeah.
I'm 23 now, right? So like
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
I mean,
And the
dude,
thing
so
is,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, and the thing is, since working with you, I realized I actually need more of that. I'm young, I'll figure it out. Like I didn't have that. And some
Yes.
people who maybe have too much of that, who are
Yeah.
like not strict and struggle with being strict when working with you, they will probably be like more strict. And because
Mm.
they maybe had like a different upbringing where we're always like, yeah, you don't need to do those things, blah blah blah. And then they will realize, then they can see themselves actually doing more meditation and those stuff, because it's just like
Yeah.
you like talking to you kind of like connected my personality, like kind of like balanced shit out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to swear, but like yeah, and like kind
Yeah,
of
you
like
are.
balanced it out, right? And yeah, that's very interesting to think about.
It
Yeah,
is. Yeah, so yeah, it's very remember when I was talking about how you're trying to find your footing now?
yeah,
The reason why you were overexerting yourself constantly and you never missed a day and you always stuck to the diet, there's like nothing wrong with that inherently.
yeah,
But you have to like sometimes seasons of rest are necessary, right? So
yes,
if right now your mind and your body are calling you to take some rest and to just
mm,
be your age, right now, it's okay to listen to that. And the good news is now after we've done this work is you're not going to beat yourself up for it either. You know what I mean? Like it
exactly.
it is okay to take some rest and some time for yourself. Seasons of rest and restoration are absolutely necessary. It's like a
Yeah,
slingshot, right? It's like you're in now the pullback period where you're resting and resting and resting. And when you're ready, you'll launch. When you're ready. You know what I mean? It's
that's
okay.
perfect.
And for
Yeah,
some people, yes, exactly like you said, maybe they were in too much rest and they were too
yeah.
lazy, they were too that. And the reason
Because of
why,
anxiety as well, right? Because it can go like
exactly,
both ways. Because
$100%.
some people like run away, and some people go like even more extreme. Like I'm a person, like if I have fear or stuff, I do even more, right?
Yeah.
And some people are, when they have fear, they do like less, you know. And then if they work with you, then they will see themselves being like more courageous. And like I never really struggled with like being like courageous and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
actually had like too much of that stuff, just like being too active, kind of, you know. And I need to
100%.
just, and now I'm kind of like, okay, bro, let's just like take a little breather, you know. It's kind of
Yeah.
like relax a little. Let's just like look at like like zoom out. Yeah, like talking to you helped me zoom out. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
zooming out. It's like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I stressing so much? That makes zero sense, you know. Like yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just doing that. And yeah, maybe I'll have a beer tonight, like or now. I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
see. You know.
Who knows? Yeah. It's like that's the thing too, is like you're a grown man. Like you can make that
Yeah.
decision for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's fine. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's your life. You get to
That's
choose.
great.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yes, exactly, man. You're
Yeah.
running a profitable business. You're
Yeah.
successful at a very
Yeah.
young age, by the way, which is very rare. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're planning on maybe potentially one day moving to the United States.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you have your life in control. Like you have a mission, you have a vision, you know where you want to go and how you want to do that. So my thing to you is like, again, we had this in our last session, this realization, like, cool. If you want to take some time for yourself, do that. It's all good. Like it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
not nothing's gonna blow up while you do that. Not
But you
everything's
can
gonna
do
be
both. That's the thing. Like I was
exactly.
still, I'm still taking my calls today and stuff. You know, I'm still. It's not like I'm taking like 5 weeks off now. Like it's such,
Yeah.
you can literally, like I even am productive. Like right now, I did like good things which I was procrastinating with. I'm like even more
Yeah.
efficient right now, but I don't. I'm not really going that hard like the last days. And this whole week, I probably won't go that hard. Like I'm just
Not
kind of
going
like,
that hard, but it's funny because since you've been exerting less effort, you've been closing deals,
yeah,
right?
yeah, easy. And
Easy.
the calls were like shorter and they were like more honest and like very low pressure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
yeah,
Yeah, it's incredible to see. Like, again, it's crazy to think we've only known each other almost for 2 weeks.
yeah. This is
That's it.
insane.
It
Yeah,
feels way longer than that, right?
yeah,
But so you were, just to kind of recap for the audience here, you were in a state of a lot of anxiety, always feeling like you were doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Always kind of getting in your own way, having to work harder than everybody else just to get the same results. And now, since we've done this work, you're more in a place of there is no more anxiety. There
yeah,
is no more internal judgment, right? And at least that's on the way, right? Out. And it sounds like really what's happened is you've closed the gap between who you were and who you wanted to be. And it seems like that
yeah.
gap is closed. And you're like, yeah, everything's okay now. I'm at peace and I'm passionate about what I'm doing.
Before working with you, I felt like there is something wrong with me and that I'm not going to be okay. And now I
Yeah.
don't.
Beautiful. What would you say to someone who's like hesitant about doing this work, right? Because for some people it can be
And
kind
it
of
makes sense, you know?
intimidating and daunting to like face
Yeah.
yourself, but when you actually do it, you're like we have that sensation where we're like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad." Like, what would you
Yeah.
say for your like to someone who is hesitant about doing this?
I mean, would you rather pay money and invest a few hours and have it like a bit more intense and then feel good all the time, or struggle like with this basically like forever and save a little bit of money? You know, it's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's literally like, do you want like a little bit more pain now, which actually isn't even painful because it's just intimidating. But like once you sit there, because of the way you are as a person, you know, just like
Hmm.
very relaxed and like it's very easy to talk to you in general, you know, like very
Yeah.
easy to open up to you as well. I think like that's not like that's also you can't do this with every person. Like with some people, it's very difficult to open up to them. With you, it's like felt like I talked to a friend's childhood friend, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I mean, just like pay with a little bit of money and just do it now in comparison to paying with your life. Yeah, because like basically when you don't do those things now, and there isn't like a too soon to do this, right? Like
Hmm.
just do it like as soon as possible and then feel good for like a long time, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just it just sounds like a way better like strategy to me, you know,
Yeah.
than trying to like just like figure it out on your own, like whatever that even means, because like
Mm.
obviously you can't figure it out on your own because you don't even know what's wrong. Like how
Yes.
can you figure it out if you don't know what's wrong?
Yeah.
Like you don't even know what like the thoughts are which are holding you back and why. So like
And
that
where they're
doesn't make
coming from.
sense. Yeah, like you can't figure it out on your own. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very, very difficult. You know what I mean? And it
yeah,
depends what you value more. Are you someone who values time more, right? Like, yeah, because you can collapse the time it takes to get better very quickly, as you've
yeah,
experienced, right? And in my eyes, that matters because tomorrow is never guaranteed. You know what I
yep,
mean? We don't have nothing is guaranteed in life, nothing. You know what
yes,
I mean? And so for me, it's always been one of these things where I'm like, man, if I can improve my life today, I'm going to improve my life today. You know what I mean? Because why wait? Like life is short. I want to
yeah.
impact others. I want to impact myself, and I'll do what it takes to do
Because like,
that.
what are we talking about? You know, it's not like we're talking about like this fitness program where you maybe lose like 10 pounds. You know, it's like, bro, we literally talk about how you feel all the time.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be nice to feel good all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is. And of course, it's not like you feel good all the time, but it's like you aren't like scared of being scared, you know?
Exactly. Like the baseline version, who you naturally are, is someone again who's happy, passionate, living in their purpose. They have a
Yeah,
mission, they have goals, they're excited to live. That's who you naturally are. And
yeah,
what happens in life is sometimes shit happens, right? It's easy for things to go sideways in life, and it's okay to feel bad and down during those times.
yeah,
What's not okay is to always feel anxious, sad, down, depressed, and in your way, and then
exactly.
working hard to get out of that just to go back.
Especially when things are objectively going well,
Yes, exactly.
right? Like then, and if you feel bad when things are objectively going well, you can't just like do more and then feel better. Like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to just like figure out why that is and talk to them, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Niels, brother, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time today, bro. It's so good to see how far you've come in such a little amount of time, and more
Yeah, man. It's
importantly,
weird.
how much more progress we have to make. Because if you think things are good now, just wait, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, guys. Till next time.